Welcome back to the Self Trust Solution Podcast. I'm Dawn Ledet, the Self Trust Coach, and today I'm joined by Amanda Furgiuele, entrepreneur, strategist, educator, podcaster, and co-author of The Pursuit of Badasserie. She sounds lazy, right? Just kidding. Amanda built, bought, sold, and mentored businesses for decades. But what makes her story so powerful and so aligned with this season 3 of the podcast is how much of her self trust was built quietly, long before confidence, before certainty, and before anyone else's approval. I am so grateful you're here, Amanda.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk with you again.
Yes, it's so good. I was a guest on The Pursuit of Badasserie recently and just loved meeting both Lynn and Amanda. And so we decided that we had to keep the conversation going. And your story just so beautifully matches our season here and our work. And actually, our work, yours and mine, really do align a lot. We have a lot of the same focuses and support people in the same ways, in our unique ways, of course, and our unique backgrounds. But I'd love for you to take us back to that season before you left your television career. Maybe give us a little bit about that. But like, what do you remember most about how you were feeling day to day then?
So, when I first was a television producer, I was pretty green out of college. I went through this overly confident 20s phase where I feel like a lot of people, they're like, I'm hot stuff. I'm in my 20s. I have multiple degrees. Look at me. And I had applied, and it actually started back while I was in college still. I had applied for this internship in New York City to do copy editing and copyright. And I had absolutely zero experience in copywriting, but I was like, you know what? I can write. I have an English degree. I'm super cool. And I absolutely got shut down. I mean, shut down hard. I mean, the New York style, like shut down. Like, you have no business being an intern here. We're not even going to bother looking at your application. Like, you are nothing to us. Like, you are nothing and nobody. And it was the first time I took this huge ego hit because I basically told everybody that I was moving to New York City and that I was going to be this like big hotshot. No, I mean, spoiler alert. No, I got shut down in New York fashion. And I mean, I still did quite a bit of work in New York and I worked with companies in New York once I became a television producer. But even as a television producer, I didn't really have true experience as a television producer. I had a film degree, I had an English degree. And so I kind of like sweet talked my way into this entry level position. But I remember how blown up I thought I was. So I know that we have this whole cliche of, I don't want to be the coffee girl, like I don't want somebody to tell me like, I don't want to be a entry level producer and then have somebody just have me get coffee. And I remember my boss, and I love her. We still talk. She's amazing. Cheryl, if you're out there, you're amazing. So she asked me to get coffee for the team on the first day. And I shut it down. I was like, I don't get coffee. And I was so rude. And she just kind of looked at me like, "Mm, you're kind of nobody right now. Go get the coffee." Like, oh, okay. So it was like this, it's not necessarily an ego hit that I didn't need. I mean, I absolutely needed it because there is this sense of no matter how great you are, we're not saying that you need to degrade yourself or like be less than who you are, but there is a bit of a pecking order when you start out in the world and you can trust yourself and you can feel confident all you want, but confident and cocky are two very separate things.
Yeah.
And, not having the receipts to back it up, it's just out there being like, look at me, I'm cool. No, I was not cool.
Well, and I wonder about that because I experienced the same thing. And what I would define it as now, and I'm curious your take on this, is it wasn't really self trust at all. It was like trying to
It
prove
was
to
fear.
myself and others that I was something
It was
instead
fear.
of, yeah,
It was absolutely fear. It was, I don't want anybody to know that I have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't want anybody to know that I am kind of sucking and failing at this position and
mm,
I don't know what I'm doing and I didn't want anybody to have any inkling that I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like that was, I mean, I think that I was raised to feel like that. If you fake it till you make it, fake it
yeah,
till you make it. I didn't want anybody to see weakness on me in any way, shape, or form because, growing up in my family, it was very much like you don't show weakness, you don't show emotion, you don't
yeah.
you don't let anybody outside of your family circle let any inkling that anything's going wrong.
Mhm.
So it was very much ingrained in me. And I'm not saying that necessarily a bad thing because I don't believe that I need to air all my grievances on Facebook. That's not what I believe in. But it was absolutely not self-trust. It wasn't really true confidence. It was fear of failure, super rooted fear of failure and fear of being judged and fear of, being wrong and failing. I mean, heaven forbid you get anything wrong and fail at anything. It was 100% fear that
Yeah.
I would fail at
And
anything.
then fast forward to be an entrepreneur where all we do is fail forward.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I could go back in time and talk to sweet little innocent Amanda and just say, "You're gonna fail a lot. In fact, you need to fail more. You need to
Yeah.
get this over with and get it faster because,
Yeah.
I mean, I just look at a little baby trying to learn to walk, like, they fall 1,000 times and nobody gives them crap for it, so, like, think of yourself like that.
And
You are
all
going to
innovation, I can't say this enough, innovation, evolution comes from seeing something, like learning from a mistake or seeing a gap in something or, a wrong that has happened. That that's how we create intellectual property and thought leadership.
Absolutely. You have to fail. I mean, it's my absolute truest teacher, and I think about all the times I failed, and there have been many, many. I don't make those same mistakes twice,
Yeah.
or at least I don't make them to the same degree. I might still try along that same line or try to work out or tweak it or, pivot, whatever you want to
Yeah.
use, whatever word you want to use. But it's never to the same degree and it's never as terrible. And I always go in there with the knowledge of what happened before so that the trajectory changes on the other end.
Well, that's a significant piece that I think we're missing when we make failure problem
Mhm.
instead of a learning experience. Because what you just described is what creates success, is that it's not the problem of failing, it's if you don't extract the data from it and use it to move forward.
Absolutely. Just sitting there and wallowing in your own self pity. I mean, I like to say that, when you sit in the shit too long, you're going to start to smell everything that way. Everything seems to
Mhm.
smell that way. And you start to think that that's the way things smell. Like there's no other smell, just that smell. So if you don't get out of it faster, you're never going to realize that you're in it. And you see this time and time again with clients, with friends, even where some little or family for sure, the tiniest thing will hiccup in their day and it ruins the whole day. Everything is wrong. The world is against me. No good deed goes unpunished. And it's just like
Mhm.
this weight that sits on you. Like, or you could just kind of flip it around and be like, okay, well, that sucked for a second. But that was 1 second that's already passed at this point.
Yeah.
Move on. There's more things that we can do. And that's, on the radar, like the blip of a radar on your radar. It's just so minute. I mean, if that
Yeah.
one decision, if that one failure isn't going to matter to you in 5 years, then why does it matter to you in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Who
Yeah.
cares? We
And
put
the
ourselves through a ringer more than
Yeah.
anybody else, and no more than any external force. All of that is coming from inside, and it is messing with you.
Yeah. So what was happening for you internally because you leave television,
Me too.
and what happened that finally made staying feel harder than leaving?
So, again, I was in my 20s. So let's just like preface this with I was in my 20s. And I was a television producer, and at one point in my 20s, I was a production manager. So I rose in the ranks very quickly, and I had an amazing job at an amazing company. I was working with ESPN and VH1 and Girls Gone Wild even. Like, I had a lot of really amazing experiences that I was working with. So it was a dream job for 99.9% of the population. And at one point, I'll make this story pretty short, but basically what it comes down to is I was told no, and I didn't want to hear no, and I didn't want to be told what to do. And I was like, you know what? I am young and strong and powerful, and I'm going to do what I want. So I quit this amazing job in a little bit of a tizzy. I was mad, and I didn't want to think it through, and I was in my 20s, and I didn't have the emotional maturity to discuss it. So I quit my job, and at the time, I was also kind of moonlighting. So I had this daytime production job, but I was also teaching fitness classes at night, and I really, really loved that too. And I was like, I'm just going to open my own studio. Forget this. I'm going to open my own fitness studio. I'm going to just cut ties with the television station, and I'm going to start a fitness studio. So I did. I started a brick and mortar. Um, but at the same time, my family was all used to telling people that I was a television producer. I mean, it's very like from a parent perspective, I had an English degree, a French degree, and a television degree or a film and photography degree at the time. And this like leadership, kind of like a PR degree. And they were like, okay, so what are you going to do with that? Like, that's not going to make you any money. It's like when people say like you have an art degree and they're like, okay, that's not going to make you any money.
Mm.
So my parents were really, really, really proud that I was a television producer. Like they told everybody, my daughter's a television producer. Like, woo. Uh, so that keeping up with the Joneses,
Mm.
I did not tell my family that I had quit that job and that I had opened a studio for 5 years. For flat out 5 years, they had no idea that I was teaching fitness, that I owned a studio, that I had, yeah, no, I didn't tell anybody
Wow.
because I was terrified. And actually, ironically, they found out from a CNN episode. There was a CNN special that was done on me about like moonlighting jobs and how I'd gone from, and it was a very like sensational topic because I'd gone from television producer to a pole dancing instructor. And it was like a very nice headline. And that's how my parents found out on CNN. So that was awkward. That was a very awkward conversation to be like, oh, yeah, I quit my job 5 years ago. And now I am a pole dancer. Like that was a real tough conversation to have because,
Huh.
I mean, back then, I mean, I'm not saying it's that long ago, but 25 years ago, uh, there wasn't really a pole dancing thing yet. It was very taboo. I mean, to the point where I couldn't even put my phone number on an advertisement because I'd got like breathers on the phone. It was just like it was very taboo. I didn't give my address out unless you registered and paid for a class. Then you got the address. It was just not a thing back then. I mean, now it's very, I mean, it's everywhere. Everybody does that. But at the time, it was not a thing. So it was just very, yeah, I didn't tell them I mean, for 5 whole years, I didn't tell them
What do
anything.
you think that gave you to be able to, like, separate that? Like, what did it protect you from or give you, do you believe?
Well, I think initially it was all about saving face. It was all about the fear of my parents' rejection. It was the fear of failure. I didn't want them to know that I mean, I didn't fail at being a producer. I mean, I did. I mean, I was a great producer. I still talk to the whole team. Like I loved television. I didn't fail at it, but I didn't really want to have the conversation around why I left. I didn't really want to have those hard conversations, the difficult
Mm.
conversations that you have to have as an entrepreneur, as and I think most entrepreneurs now, no matter what your story is, the feeling of your family being like, are you going to get a real job? Like, is that going to be sustainable? Do you think you're going to be able to do that forever? And and when they eventually did find out, those are very common questions. Those are questions I still get those questions after 25 years of as being an entrepreneur. I still get those questions. It's just
Yeah.
like nobody really understands what you're doing or why you're doing it. And I was absolutely avoiding those conversations. I was in 100% avoidance. I feared failure. I feared uh, having those conversations. I didn't want to
Yeah.
have people look down on me and judge me for the decisions that I made. And ultimately, it was a great decision. And that business did
Yes.
great eventually. I mean, you know, didn't do great in the beginning, but eventually it was, $500,000 business. It was a great business.
Yeah. How did that season of keeping it for yourself, how did that shape your relationship with yourself?
I felt like I was walking on eggshells all the
Mm.
time because you in some ways it was really empowering, like, look what I can do on my own. But in the other side of it was this constant like, oh crap, like don't say anything that's gonna tell people that you do that. And, you know, there was a time for a while where I was doing both jobs. So again, I was a television producer and I was also teaching classes. Pole dancing was one of them. At the same time. And so it was this very much like no clandestine, nobody can know that I'm also doing this. I
Mm.
don't want there to be this conflict of interest. And, my sister, I remember when she found out, and I love her and she knows I love her. And she was convinced that I would never be able to get another job in my life because I had taught a pole dancing class. She's like, that's going to go with you forever. The internet's a thing now because it had like basically just started. She's like, the internet's a thing now and you're never going to be able to do any other job and people are never going to trust you or, it was this whole thing.
Mm.
And I felt that very deeply. I felt like keeping it separate. So it was this dichotomy of being
Yeah.
proud of who I was and like empowering women and really getting strong physically and really, really loving what I did, but also having this shame around,
Mhm.
is this professional enough to have quit a very professional, well-paying job that, universally is a pretty respected job to do something that is not as respected? Again, 25 years ago, it's different now, but
Yeah.
it felt very different. So I was always walking on eggshells. So I was two people. I was really, really proud and empowering women, but also didn't want anybody to see me fail and didn't want anybody to know that I was struggling. And it was just two very separate versions of me at the same time.
'Cause you're having to withhold or you're choosing to withhold a part of yourself, which
Absolutely.
can never be a full expression, right? It
100%.
yeah. But you mentioned struggling. So the business required you to take on significant debt is at some
Yes.
point. What
Yes.
did that bring up for you?
Well, I am, of all my siblings, so I'm the youngest of four. Of all my siblings, I've always considered myself to be the most financially savvy. So when you take on over $100,000 of debt, it hits you horribly because when I prided myself as that being, it was like one of my personality traits. I'm good with money. It was
Mm,
something I told people, like, I'm excellent with money. And I was, but me being good with money doesn't change the fact that there are expenses in starting a business. And because of a bit of my pride, a bit of my ego, a lot of my ego, I wanted to grow faster than my company was really ready to do. And so I pumped a lot of money where it didn't need to be at the time. It's not that that money wouldn't have been well spent. Specifically, I spent a lot of money on marketing. I spent a lot of money on upgrades that were very aesthetically pleasing, but didn't really bring in revenue.
mm,
So it was like, I want my studio to look like $1 million studio. Well, that's great, but you don't have $1 million revenue. It's like champagne taste beer budget. So I let the idea of success and like the idea of like, of course I'm going to make this money back. I let that idea supersede my like knowledge of numbers. I knew
mm,
that I wasn't making enough money to make those decisions. And yet I was like, nope, my ego. And in some ways it was good because I never want to feel like I don't want to be afraid of spending money in order to grow a business because you have to, there's risk and reward. So there's risk and reward. But when I mean, it's a big debt. It's a huge debt. And I did not file for bankruptcy. I mean, that wasn't what happened. I just sucked it up, did the work, and did it the hard way. I mean, I worked multiple jobs at one point. I saved, I invested, I paid off the money in the old fashioned way. I didn't get loans. I mean, I had a loan originally, but I didn't get more loans. I didn't consolidate. I did the hard stuff and I just worked my butt off and I grew my business to the point where I could actually pay off the debt. So now it's kind of funny, in hindsight, I'm really glad I had that experience because now when I make huge purchases, I don't even blink about it. I'm like, oh, yeah, I spent $50,000 yesterday. And maybe I have the money, maybe I don't, but I know I'm going to make the money. I can always make more money. And I
mm,
think that had I never really come out of something so big on my own with again, not telling anybody because I couldn't let anybody know I was failing or I was weak. Not allowed to do that. So
mm.
because I had to come out of it myself, it really strengthened me as like my integrity, my self-trust grew exponentially. And it was a terrible experience. Again, we learn from our failures.
Yeah.
I do not wish like don't go get $100,000 in debt to learn this lesson. It was a terrible lesson. Don't learn it. But even now I have clients and business partners who will be like, "Ooh, I don't know, like we have $2,000 on the credit card." I'm like, "$2,000? Like I can make that tomorrow. Like we can make that tomorrow. What are you talking about?" And so it just changed the perspective on my view of debt. And again, you don't want to be in debt just to be in debt, but knowing your own capabilities and how to get out of it and your processes will change everything. So learning from the
Yeah.
failure and translating that to something good because that very, very long period, it seemed very long, wasn't that long, but it felt long,
Yeah.
period of time where I was massively in debt. I've learned that now if I'm a little bit in debt 1 month, like I know I can make it back and I'll never be in debt that way again,
Yeah.
ever.
I think what's so important to note here is that we're not chasing debt, but we're not avoiding it either.
Yeah.
Because the same way we hold up debt, and I was the same way, like I'm, financially responsible. Everything is, I never have debt and outside of a mortgage, right? And yet that can become its own like idol almost, or its own like prevention, safeguard, safety
100%.
net. And so we want I think it's good to stretch it. We don't need we don't need to stretch it by, like,
Yeah,
intentionally going into debt that isn't
let's not do
supported by
that.
our business. Let's be intentional, but it's such a good example of showing, again, we don't wanna chase it, but we also don't need to avoid it. Like, there are reasons to take on, a small amount of debt and then also build your capacity for actually holding debt and repaying debt.
And I use debt in responsible ways now. Like you said,
Yeah.
not all debt is necessarily bad. How
Yeah.
are you using it? Where are you investing it? What's the return on it? There are ways to structure your money that are not going to kill you. And sometimes, yeah, I put money listen, I put stuff on the credit card that I don't necessarily have cash in hand, but like 3 weeks later I do. So
Yeah.
it's a risk reward. It's understanding your finances in a more in-depth way, not just what is in your bank account, but what you know is coming and how you work things out. So again, we're not advocating to making irresponsible choices financially.
Yeah.
However, we're not using money as the only limit to our growth. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think that people have a lot of fear around money. I mean, it's an overwhelming thing I hear with clients and friends in general. It's just like it's a scarcity mode. I don't
Yeah.
have any more. Like it's never going to come. And a lot of entrepreneurs, because they don't have this consistent paycheck, because we don't get paid every Friday, they can build that scarcity mode because it's like, I'm not getting paid Friday. What if I never get paid again? And it's
Mhm.
like, well, you're going to get paid again. Just that's what we do. Like we're hustlers. Like we make the money. It comes. But if you're always stuck in that, it's never going to come. Then
Mhm.
it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
It's never going to come because you've never allowed it to come. And but ultimately, again, it's you know, I was ashamed to admit that I wasn't successful or capable.
Yeah.
And I thought that I should know everything right out of the womb, just like, oh, I own a business. So now I'm supposed to suddenly know everything about business. I'm supposed to know about every tax code law, which definitely bit me in the butt. I'm supposed to know about every lawsuit. I'm supposed to know about, I mean, those kinds of things compound and you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody told me. Nobody told most business owners, but you do it anyway. And you have to, I carried that weight privately because I felt obligated to. I was convinced that that was my due in life. I had to hold it quietly. But ultimately, that lesson has changed how I operate financially. It's changed how I see money. It's changed how I see growth and abundance. And again, I don't know if I would go back and repeat that same
Yeah.
mistake, but I'm happy for the lesson I learned in it.
Yeah. I mean, we can't go back. And so the power you have is in how you use it.
Absolutely.
So, how do you think those early experiences shape the way you lead today? And I'm not going to let you get away either without talking about holding things privately. And has that changed?
No, that will never change. Um, I do still hold things privately, but I'd hold them privately with select people.
Mm.
So I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to start telling everything I feel on Facebook. You're never going to see that. If you ever see me crying on Instagram, it's a clone. It's like some alien takeover. It's never going to happen. Because I do hold those cards very privately. I do believe in
Mm.
having a private side of your life. I mean, I think we're way too much as a culture out there and showing everybody everything. So I do believe in keeping things private. But now, instead of 100% holding the burden, I do have trusted people that I will discuss it with. So I think that has shifted in this, you know, you don't have to hold everything yourself all the time. And it's a very curated, I mean, it's tiny list of people that I will open up to, very, very small. And they're also have some of the same mindset of this abundance and they can absolutely smack me out of it because what you don't want to do, or what I don't want to do, is take my shortcomings to somebody who's only going to amplify them, who's only going to let me sit in that for longer. I want somebody who's going to shake me out of it, be like, obviously that's not you. Obviously you are not the worst person in the world. Obviously you are very successful and you're not failing. Obviously, get out of your own head
Yeah.
or out of your, nether regions. Like I want
Right.
someone who's going to tell me that. So the people that I open up to are people who are very honest and straightforward and will absolutely knock me off my pedestal and give me the straight talk. And there are a few,
Mm.
but again, very, very, but they never live in the same city as me. They're always far away. It's like they're like long distance friendships. But that's different now. So I used to always carry it 100% on my own, and now I have a select group, and it's kind of like I kind of call them my executive team. It's just the people that I will open up to, the people that will hold me to my integrity, will hold me to my belief systems, my core values, and you know, read me the right act if I have fallen behind that in the way that isn't aligned with who I am, because they know who I am. I've opened myself up enough to let them know. But it's definitely not an everybody thing. You'll never see me crying online. But I think that definitely shifted my leadership style into more integrity and less ego, more integrity. I'm not my business partner Lynn will always laugh at me because I'm not like the woo-woo type. I'm not really the emotional one. I'm like, not that she's emotional, but like I don't really talk about those things. I was never raised to discuss feelings. So but I have now more emotional intelligence to understand others. So
Yeah.
being able to
So
really treat my team the way they want to be treated versus the way I assume everybody should be treated because I'm stoic.
yeah. So when you work with entrepreneurs now or with your team, as you just mentioned, where do you see them getting stuck in similar ways?
Yeah. So when I work with entrepreneurs, particularly, I see a couple of them will do the same thing that I did in that they will assume standards on their team because they have it. So it's that whole concept of, well, I can do this. Why can't they? It only takes
Mm,
me 10 minutes. Why does it take them an hour? They're not listening to me. They don't get it. They don't understand the brand. I'm like, well, you didn't teach them. You're just assuming that because you live, breathe, and die your business, that they live, breathe, and die it. But like, they're independent contractors. They're there 2 hours a week. They don't give a crap. Like they don't care. And I mean, even if they care, in a
or they
fundamentally
wanna
human
care, but you
way,
haven't given them yeah.
I mean, you haven't opened them up to the vision. You haven't really like there's no shared vision there.
Yeah.
It's just, a micromanager basically. And this person who feels like even though they feel relatively supported, it's still a bit of a micromanaging situation. And this like, you know, 2 plus 2 is 4. Yeah, but so is 1 plus 3. So is 0 plus 4. So
Yeah.
it's this very my way or the highway control. And I was absolutely a steamroller, bulldozer business owner when I started. It was very much like, we're going to go until I say stop. And like, here's a candy bar. Like, let's keep going. Like, here's a quick incentive. And let's keep doing the work that I think should be done in the way, in the time, and the exact way that I want it to happen.
Mm.
That's not really leadership. That's dictatorship. So I absolutely admit, first step to recovery is admitting I was absolutely that person. But now working with entrepreneurs, it's helping them understand this platinum rule of we want to treat people the way they want to be treated. Not every person is interested the way you are, and we have to be the ones to teach them.
Mm.
We have to not, and the big one is assumptions. Don't assume that that anything. Don't assume they don't get it. Don't assume that they do get it. Don't assume that they, have the same ambitions that you do. Don't assume that they want to make X amount. Like,
Yeah.
ask, communicate those things because most people, and I know this sounds terrible, like people are selfish. We're supposed to be selfish. We're biologically wired to keep ourselves alive. So why are you expecting anything different? They're going to want to take care of themselves first before they take care of the company. They're biologically wired to be
And they're just
self-sufficient.
their ideas of what that looks like is different for each person. So we need to
And it's
know
not
what drives
malicious.
the person. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
maliciously motivated. They're not sitting around plotting ways to take down your business. Nobody has time for that. Nobody is that invested in your business. Like nobody cares that much.
Mm-mm.
So if you want your team to care more and you want more of X result, then you've got to be the one to set them up for success and teach them and guide them in the way, not micromanaging them, but be very results focused and solution oriented versus like the actual process. You will walk in and the first thing you will do is you will hang the keys here and then you will turn this light on to this degree. It's maddening.
It's a waste of energy. And you're
100%.
like you're genius as a leader, as a business owner, as the CEO. So if you look at what it takes to fully step into a CEO role now, based on all this amazing wisdom and experience that you have gained, what would you say it actually requires beyond strategy?
Um, it requires, I mean, I know this is very, I didn't intentionally say this, but it's the first thing that came to my head. Self-trust.
Yeah.
You've got to trust yourself. You've got to trust your vision. You've got to trust your capabilities. You have to trust your team.
Mhm.
And you have to let go of control, and you have to let go of the fear that you're going to fail, because if you sit in that fear of failure, then you're just allowing the failure to come faster.
Yeah. You're actually pre-failing.
And I mean,
Yeah.
and that's not effective. I mean, I know we all want to be efficient, but you can't
Yeah.
pre-fail in order to get the lesson that failure brings. Sorry,
No.
that's not how that works at all.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I always talk about, like, we have to hold the vision firmly, but let the how, hold it lightly because it's gonna unfold the way it's supposed to. And the greatest trust that you can have, especially as an entrepreneur, is that you can get back up. That you're gonna gather the data from no matter what happens, the good, the bad, the ugly, and you're gonna learn from it and use it to move forward. And
100%.
yeah.
You have to trust that you're going to get out of it. You have to know that, I mean, we're not built to stay down.
There's no set it and forget it. Like, I think that's the other greatest lesson that we can learn in life, period, is there's no set it and forget it.
I wish there were. If there were a pill that did that, I'd be buying stock in it, I'll tell you that.
So looking back now, what do you see that you couldn't see then, would you say?
Oh my God, so many things. I'd be sitting her down for a 7-hour long coffee chat about, okay, we would just transition from coffee into wine. Like, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I think for sure I would have a big, very strong conversation on the leadership style, and that the steamrolling, my way or the highway, this is how it's done, this is how we're going to succeed. I'm not saying that didn't serve me, because a lot of times I am right. And so, but it's the way you execute it. You're not going to get people on board by screaming at them, and you're not going to bring them into your vision with fear or with intimidation. And a lot of times I didn't even realize I was being intimidating. It
Yeah.
was just kind of my personality trait, and I didn't even know I was doing it until someone pointed, like, oh yeah, I do kind of do that. I am like standing over the team, and like I'm not like at their level. Like, wow, I even like body language stuff. I think that I would bring that into it. I would bring, behavioral styles into it, the DISC assessment. In my entrepreneur career, it's actually my business partner now who introduced me to DISC. And that absolutely changed the team dynamic, being able to understand motivations and, what people, because I was very money motivated, but at one point, my entire team was like relationship motivated, and they were cared more about the community. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then I had to like let go of that like judgment of like, I thought it was ridiculous that they cared so much
Yeah.
about people in an industry that served people. But meanwhile, I was very task oriented and very
Yeah.
like, let's just get it done. Like, let's get the money. And those things didn't necessarily work well together from a leadership perspective. And so as soon as I was able to really understand and empathize and uh, connect on a different level, changed everything. So I would go back and I would just tell old Amanda that your dictatorial ways are not the way. That's not the way. And you need to let go of control. You need to let go of perfectionism. And your procrastination is not this badge of honor. I thought, oh, I mean, I remember in college, I used to tell people, it was true. I didn't just tell them that. I actually did this. I didn't start a single paper until 10 p.m. the night before it was due, because I worked well under pressure. No, I procrastinated for the end of to the end of time, and I created a lot of unnecessary stress and anxiety. This is back in the day where sometimes my papers were handwritten because we didn't have a lot of access to computers, or you would go to like a public computer lab or like an internet cafe to
Mhm.
type things out. It'd be like 4 a.m, like not safe. What was I? And then I would like, people be bringing me food at 2 o'clock in the morning, ridiculous. But I told everybody, like, that's how I write. And I'm so good. And then I would get an A on the paper, and everybody would be like, wow, and I used that as a badge of honor. Like, I'm so amazing. I can do things so quickly. And no, I was stressed out of my mind, wasting time, not being productive, not being efficient. And, I was hiding behind those badges of honor.
Yeah.
I'm so busy. I can't have
But
to wait.
the truth is it works. I spent 2 decades succeeding without self. You can
Of
do it.
course.
You can do it procrastinating. You can succeed being a dictator and
Absolutely.
micromanaging your team. But if it's not aligned and it's not creating the long-term sustainable results you want to shift it, right? It's just not the truest expression of you and what you wanted to create for yourself. But it works. So instead of judging it, notice, like, look how good you are at being able to do those things in that way, and then learn from them to evolve yourself and how you work in a way.
But yeah, to evolve
Yeah.
rather than staying there because you feel like that's makes you better. Like, no,
Yeah.
it doesn't make you better. It just means you're still in the same place that you were back then. So
Right.
it's all about evolving and learning from your mistakes or the learning from the way you handle things. And it's again, yeah, I was very successful. I absolutely had success, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in success being that way. And I wasn't necessarily happy all the time. I
Right.
wasn't necessarily fulfilled. I didn't, I didn't have as much time to do things that I love to do. So I don't necessarily, again, wasn't aligned.
Mhm.
It worked. It was effective
Right.
for what it was, but
So
not
we don't
for who I
always
am.
change because it doesn't work. We change because we want to evolve and grow and experience things differently. And I think that's such a key takeaway from your
Absolutely.
experience is that there was nothing wrong with who you were or how you held things or what you did between debt and new businesses. And it's just you changed it and learned from it as you went and grew and evolved.
And
So
you don't
tell people now what you do and how you and Lynn help.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So now, after over 25 years of being an entrepreneur in multiple industries, I now am a business consultant and strategist. I work internationally all around the world, speaking and teaching. We do one on one as well as group coaching all over the world and international retreats. And our goal, our mission really is to help business owners step into that CEO role and actually gain time, not working so hard, at the own job that they created for themselves. We want business owners to actually enjoy business ownership versus, all the hats and all the stress and all the things that we did ourselves for combined 50 years of doing it the hard way. And we want people to enjoy businesses so they can actually share their passion in a way that aligns with their life.
Yes, and where can people find you?
The best way to find us is at the Pursuit of Badasserie across all platforms. That's Badasserie with an IE. That's on YouTube, on Instagram, anywhere you can look for it. Grab our books and message us. We love to talk to people about their businesses. We love to bounce ideas off of you and make whole podcasts around your questions. So please reach out to us at the Pursuit of Badasserie.
Amazing. Amanda, thank you so much for sharing your story so honestly and so openly, not privately. What I hear so clearly is that self-trust isn't always loud or visible. Sometimes it looks like choosing alignment before approval. Sometimes it means trusting yourself enough to make the mistakes and learn from them and move forward. You have a decisive CEO filter
Yes.
that you are offering listeners.
Yes, the decisive CEO filter is just a decision making tool. I use it subconsciously at this point, but it's a one-page tool to help you make the decisions that you need to make, the important ones, faster. And I hope you all grab that because it will absolutely help you make your next big decision with ease and confidence.
Yes, and we have all the links to the Pursuit of Badassery, to Amanda, to the Decisive CEO filter in the show notes. And if you have a self-trust story to share, I'd love to hear it. And if you're ready to create your own, I'd love to help you claim it. Make sure you tune in next time for the Self-Trust Solution podcast and don't miss any of these incredible stories that are coming up. If you want to connect, you can visit the selftrustcoach.com. Again, all the links will be in the show notes and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.